Hello friends, welcome to UPSC preparation day 4. Today we are going to study about nationalism in India. So first we will discuss about the First World War, Khilafat and non-cooperation movement. So how was the situation around First World War? The First World War created a new economic and political situation, led to huge increase in defense expenditure which was financed by war loans, increasing taxes, custom duties were raised and income tax introduced. Throughout the war years, prices increased, doubling between 1913 and 1918, leading to extreme hardships for common people. Villagers were called upon to supply soldiers, and forced recruitment of soldiers caused anger among the villagers. In 1980 to 1990 and 1920 to 1921, crops failed in many parts of India, resulting in food shortage. It was also accompanied by influenza epidemic. 12 to 13 million people perished during that time. Next comes the idea of Satyagraha. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in 1915 of January. In 1916, he travelled to Champaran in Bihar to inspire the peasants to struggle against the oppressive plantation system. In 1970, he organized a satyagraha to support the peasants of the Kheda district of Gujarat affected by crop failure and the plague epidemic. The peasants of Kheda could not pay the revenue and were demanding that revenue collection be relaxed. In the year 1918, Mahatma Gandhi went to Ahmedabad to organize a satyagraha among cotton mill workers. The Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act was introduced in 1919 by the British government. This gave the British government enormous powers to repress political activities, allow detention of political prisoners without trial for 2 years. Mahatma Gandhi wanted a non-violent civil disobedience against the Rowlatt Act, which would start with a hartal on 6th April. But on 10th April, police in Amritsar fired upon a peaceful procession, provoking widespread attacks on banks and post offices. Martial law was imposed, General Dyer took command. On 13th April, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. As news of Jallianwala Bagh incident spread, crowds took to the street. Seeing violence, Mahatma Gandhi called off the movement. While Rowlatt Satyagraha had been a widespread movement, it was still limited to towns and cities. So it did not spread to the village part of India. Mahatma Gandhi felt the need to launch a broad-based movement. One way of doing it was to take up the Khilafat issue. First World War ended with the defeat of Ottoman Turkey. A peace treaty was rumored to be imposed on the Ottoman Emperor, the spiritual head of Islamic world, which is also called the Khalifa. To defend Khalifa's temporal powers, a Khilafat committee was formed in March 1990. Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali began talks with M.K. Gandhi. At the Calcutta session of Congress in 1920, Mahatma Gandhi convinced other leaders of the need to start a non-cooperation in support of Khilafat and Swaraj. Why non-cooperation? In his book Hind Swaraj, Mahatma Gandhi declared that British rule was established in India due to cooperation of India. So remember, Hind Swaraj was a book written by Mahatma Gandhi where he declared that British rule was possible in India because of cooperation of Indians. If Indians refused to cooperate, British rule would collapse. Mahatma Gandhi proposed non-cooperation should unfold in stages. It should begin with surrender of government titles, boycott of civil, naval, army, police, schools, etc. Then, in case government used repression, a full civil disobedience campaign would be launched. Finally, at Congress session in Nagpur in December 1920, non-cooperation was adopted. Non-cooperation Khilafat movement began in January 1929. So this year is important, January 1921, when non-cooperation Khilafat movement began. In Awadh, peasants were led by Baba Ramchandra, a sannyasi who had earlier been to Fiji as an indentured labor. In many places, Naidhobi bands were organized by panchayats to deprive landlords of the services of even barbers and washermen. By October 1920, Awadh Kisan Sabha was set up, headed by Nehru, Baba Ramchandra. So when non-cooperation began the following year in 1921, effort of the Congress was to integrate the peasant struggle into wider struggle. Peasant movement developed in forms that the Congress was unhappy with. In the Gudem Hill of Andhra Pradesh, a militant guerrilla movement spread in early 1920s led by Alluri Sitaram Raju. Raju was captured and executed in 1924. Swaraj in plantation. Under the Inland Immigration Act of 1859, plantation workers were not allowed to leave the tea garden without permission. When they heard about non-cooperation, thousands defied authorities, left plantation in the hope that Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their own villages. They, however, never reached their destination. That's really very sad. They were stranded on the way or they were caught by police and brutally beaten up. Next, we will study about what led to civil disobedience, that is, towards civil disobedience. In February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw non cooperation. He felt the movement was turning violent in many places and satyagrahis need to be trained before they are ready for mass struggle. Within Congress, some leaders wanted to participate in election to provincial councils that had been set up by the Government of India Act 1990. Siadas and Motilal Nehru formed Swaraj Party within Congress. So again, one important point to be noted for UPSC, that Swaraj Party was formed by Siadas Nehru and Motilal Nehru. Siadas and Motilal Nehru. Tory government in Britain constituted a statutory commission under Sir John Simon. It was to look into the function of constitution system in India. Simon Commission did not have a single Indian member, they were all British. When Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with "Go back, Simon." So, a brief note about the Simon Commission. It was introduced by Tory government in Tory government of the British Empire, and it did not have any Indian member. When it came to India in 1928, it was greeted with "Go back, Simon." Lord Irwin in October 1929 announced a vague offer of Dominion status for India in an unspecified future and a roundtable conference to discuss the future constitution. This did not satisfy Congress leader. In December 1929, under Jawaharlal Nehru, Lahore Congress formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj. It was declared that 26 January 1930 would be celebrated as Independence Day. The Salt March and the Civil Disobedience. On 31st January 1930, Mahatma Gandhi sent a letter to Irwin stating 11 demands, one of which was to abolish the salt tax. If the demands were not fulfilled by March 11, Congress would start a civil disobedience movement. On 6th April, Mahatma Gandhi with his trusted 78 volunteers reached Dandi and ceremonially violated the law. This marked the beginning of civil disobedience movement. So today we are going to study up to this. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you everyone. Have a good day.